probably we can also calculate our return rate, because I see a column there that says whether the order was returned, it was not returned, yes or no. So we can use that to say, okay, we want to calculate the total number of orders that are returned. Then we divide that by the total number of what's it called? Total number of orders, so that we can see, oh, this is the amount of orders that were the return rate, whether the store is actually doing something that is not right.
Sorry, sir, we can't see your screen just yet.
Okay. Just a moment. What's going on? So you may have to pardon me with this, all my targets here. Sometimes they tend to misbehave anyway. Okay. I think you should be up any moment from now. Okay. Is it up now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So as I was saying, I was just trying to look at the data set before now. Probably we can do something, when I look at the data set here, just a minute, I could see a particular table here that's in the data type that said whether the order was returned or it was delivered, where we have the status here. Yeah, so we can say, okay, let's calculate the total number of orders. I don't know what's going on with my mouse. It's really misbehaving. Oh, this is not good today. Okay, here, maybe we can say, okay, all the orders that are returned, that are delivered, we can get them, using our DAX. So how do we calculate that? We can use our DAX function, which is the calculate function, say, let me just create that. I'm going to explain the concept of it anyway. So we want to calculate the total number of orders that were returned. So I can call that and say return orders. So I can use the calculate function. So the way the calculate function works is that it works in a row context level. That's okay. What do you want to do? I want to calculate. What is that thing that I want to calculate? The expression, which is my formula now. So what I want to do now is I want to count, or maybe I can use distinct count, the distinct count of order ID. Now, so if I want to calculate the distinct count of order ID, which is what I want to do, that's the column name. So it's now going to ask me, okay, now that you select your column name, let me close this. It's now going to ask me that what is that filter context that I want to use. So the filter context I want to use now is where I have the order, the column, that column, which is the data, the status. Whenever I have, this data status that is equals to, just like we will normally write in our Excel, return, so I can close this now. Sorry? Okay, so what I'm trying to say is you calculate distinct count of order ID where status is returned, and that's what I want to do. I can click my enter here and I will get that value. So we can look at, maybe you can tell the business that these are all the total number of orders that are return orders. So which is quite about 31K, 31,000. So, but if you show this 31,000 now, the business or the people viewing the report, they might not be able to see any, put that context to it. So, but let's convert this into a percentage. And how can we do that? Since we have our total order, which is 113 orders. So we can say, let's divide, this return order divided by total order. I don't know if I'm communicating, but maybe it makes sense. Hello.
It
It
does.
does, it does.
It does. It
Okay.
does.
Okay. Yeah. So for me to do that, I can go back again and do my we can use the divide, or I can easily just call it by saying divide directly. So we can say percentage return. So I can say return that, which is the DAX measure that we have created, divided by the So this is one way of doing it, but this is not professional because something might happen where probably there is a zero when you apply a filter context, and this will now be seeing an error on the dashboard. So instead of that, I can use the divide function, divide the numerator. Now you can see this is more easier. What is our numerator here? That's our return order, the denominator. So I'm just following exactly what I have here, which is now giving me the denominator, which is the total order. So this is my total order. So if I want to add alternate result, if maybe something happened, I can say, okay, if you are not able to divide anything, there is an error, just put it as 0. So that's why I'm using the divide function. So then I can close this, and that's it. So with that now, we can get our percentage return rate, So let's convert this into a percentage here. I'll just change this to a percentage. Yeah, I'll change this to a percentage. I'm going to remove this to 0 decimal places. Okay. All right. Sorry, I haven't shut down my system for a while. That's why it's a bit slow. So now, okay, like we can do this percentage return rate now and tell the business, oh, out of all this, 113 orders that we had, this is what the percentage return we are getting from this order. So yeah, we can, yeah, that's okay. Let me just put this, format this. I can use this just like the same format painter that we have, just to format this properly. Yeah, I can delete this one. Okay. So let's build one more visuals, then we can question. So maybe we want to do a geographical representation. We want to see high level in terms of, where those orders are coming or where those revenue are coming.
Sorry, Mr. Azim, sorry, before you proceed further, since we now have return order and our revenue is looking at the total revenue. So I think the revenue number will be wrong then.
You're right. So that means we can use the same something and say, okay, calculate the total revenue of order that is delivered.
Yeah.
So that's another way we can do that. We can also use the same DAX function. Just come here and say, okay, let's now calculate the total revenue, of orders that is delivered. So, okay, let me just quickly calculate that. Revenue, I'm just going to put something here to differentiate. So again, I'm going to use the calculate function. So in DAX, this calculate function is one of the powerful tools, powerful function you have in DAX. It can do a lot of things for us. So calculate, what do we want to calculate? We want to calculate sales. Where do we have calculate? What do we call that? Is it cost, or let me look at what we call it here. Sales amount.
You'll still be able to use that total revenue and just filter by, shouldn't we?
Sorry, ma?
I said we should still be able to use that total revenue measure that you have already created and just filter under.
Okay, use a filter. Yeah, okay, we can do that, but I want to make it, I'm trying to make it dynamic on stand on its own.
Okay.
Calculate what is happening. Okay, let me call. What do we have there? I think we have total revenue. Calculate total revenue. We have status equals the VAT. Okay, you can use this. So what this is going to calculate the total revenue of, of all the product that were delivered. So let's just convert, because check that to compare with what we have. This one here. Okay, so you can see this is the different. So if you take into consideration of the one that were delivered, so this is the, so this is the difference between calculating everything entirely and removing the one that, So if I come here again, same thing I did here, I can add this filter, which is what Star Debbie was talking about, add it on this visual. So each of these are visuals, each of them are visuals, and this entire page, this overall, this canvas page one, it is what filters on this page. So if I want it to affect all this page, I can drop it here. If I want it to affect all the pages, maybe there is a particular thing I need to remove away from my whole report, I can put it here and just filter it out. But if I want it to affect this standalone visuals, I can just drop it here and say, okay, you know what? I want the one that is delivered only. The same thing we have here. So you can, this is dynamic, but maybe somehow when I publish this report, because if you put a filter on the report and you publish it, people can see all the filters. They can see all the filters. They can see all the filters, in your report, and maybe mistakenly they went and go and unfilter it. So all the results, will be wrong. So that's why I prefer to make it more dynamic. So again, as I mentioned, let's just create the visual, maybe like using our map, to create maybe where we are generating the orders from. I'm just going to, again, just drag one order here. Let me use probably this map. I'm going to use this. I say, okay, I want to see in terms of location at a glance, maybe in terms of the size of my circle or bubble. So in our data, I think we have city. Let's look at it. I think we have city. Okay, we have location. Let's go to the table view. We have, where is that? Okay, we have location. Okay. So, but this location now, I think there is city. Is there no city? Okay. There is location. Okay, let's try and see if you can use this location. But this location now, the data category is on uncategorized. So even though if I drag this into my map, it's not going to pick it because it's going to be saying, it's not going to see it as maybe a location-based data set. And that's why we need to make sure that we are using the right type of data type, data category, data format. There is difference between data type, data, formats, the format of your data, and the category of data. So now this data is showing as uncategorized data sets. So for now, I want to make it as a location based. So looking at this Greater Accra, maybe I can use let's try and see maybe state or city. Okay, let's use city and see whether it will give us a good result. So I've changed it into a city, and I'm now going to drag this into this. You can see the moment I change it, this becomes a globe. Like I'm saying is a location. So I can drag this here, put this into my location. Let's see whether we're going to get something. Yeah, it worked. So we can actually see all those tiny, tiny places. So now we can bring this our revenue, this our total revenue, or maybe total orders, depending on what we want to use. So let's put that and put it into our bubble side. So we will see that this will get bigger. So at a glance, if I'm presenting this to anyone, they will know, oh, looking at this map, I'm getting most of my order, the revenue coming from Africa. So that means, and I can drill down and say, okay, what part of Africa is in Ghana? So, but Ghana did not actually do well in the Nations Cup anyway. So I can say, okay, maybe we need to do something. This region, that the one that we are getting, they're buying our products. What can we do? So you can add this to it. So one thing that I also want to quickly show is that we have this delivery timeline. In a normal way, we can have just use a conditional formatting, or we use a switch function and say, okay, if the order is between 0 to 5, we can group this together. There is something that I just discovered not quite long using the group. So I don't want to write formula. I don't want to write function to create a conditional column to say, okay, if this is between 0 to 5, put it 0 to 5. If this is, but I can actually do that without writing any function, any formula. So I'm just going to go to that delivery timeline. Where is it? Delivery timeline here. And I'm going to say, I want to do a new group. I want to use this function here, this feature, say new group, and it's going to open up. And I say, okay, do I want it as bin? No, I don't want it as bin. So some of these things like this bin and list, if you are writing here 300, all these questions, especially this list and bin, do come out very well. So let's say now, I want it as list because I want to pick anything that maybe I'm going to my country 4, 5. I want to make this one as one group. I can say, okay, you know what, group this one for me. Again, maybe 6 to 10, I can pick 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can group this as well. Maybe I can also group 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I can group together. Then these other ones here, this other one, I can say maybe 15 and above. So these are all the group here. These are all the group that I've done here. You could see them. Okay, so this is the first one. I can rename this and say 0, 5. Right? This one, I think probably I've grouped this one. I need to ungroup this. I made a mistake. Okay. 0 to 5. Let me group 6, 7, 8. Because of our time, I'm just going to add one more and I'll stop. This is 6 to 9. Then other ones, I'm just going to add it as order. Okay. I'm going to just group all these ones. I'm just going to group these ones as one item. Okay. Let me put it as orders anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it like this anyway, just because of the time. But okay. So now I've been able to create a group now for that data. So if I want to maybe in my chart now, I want to see, okay, how many orders fall in this category? Let's quickly do that. I can make use of this our group now, which is where is it? Where is this? Okay. Let me pick delivery timeline. I'm going to pick that, and I'm going to pick orders that fall into this category. Okay. So you see, instead of me creating, excuse me, instead of me creating conditional formula, I've used this, that group function. Say these are 6 to 10. All the orders that was delivered within this range that fall within 0 to 5. These are the total orders. These are total order. So this is where we are going to stop today. Tomorrow we will now do the by God grace, we will do the design, how we can beautify this so that we can move to other things. So thank you for listening. Yeah, any question or comment?
Thank you very much, sir. This is really very enlightening. I think Mr. Francis had his hand up at some point. Have you got a question, sir? Okay.
Yes, my question was on that other revenue. I was thinking if whether Mr. Aziz can plot the. I want to check something. Whether the revenue dipped during 2021.
Okay, so there was no revenue in 2021, but what I did was to add a forecast. Some of the skills that business will ask an analyst person was that, oh, can you give us the big picture, maybe in the next 5 years, where do you think it will be, or what do you think will happen? So I added using a line chart, and that's only possible in a line chart. That's okay. I want you to forecast for me for 2021. That's where initially we don't have 2021 in data set, or yeah,
no,
I don't.
No, we have. Mr. Aziz,
Yeah.
can you check the data set?
Okay.
Filter.
We have it, but it's a delivery date, not the other dates. It falls
Not
in.
the other day.
Yeah.
Some orders were actually delivered in 2021. They ordered in 2020.
Let's just quickly look at dates, year, and I pick total orders. No. So probably you are using the delivery date.
No, we use the delivery date here.
Yeah. So what I'm using here is, when I build my model, I build my model on the basis of other dates. So I'm not using, though I'm not using the dates directly. I created my own separate date. But if you look at my model here, I connected it to the other dates. You can see.
Yes.
I connected it to the other date. So I'm using
that
the
makes
other.
sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
You were explaining that forecasting tool in the line chart.
Yep. Okay. So let me knock this one off. Remove. Yeah, I'm just going to delete this, create it from our first quickly. Okay. Now, for time series analysis, it has always been that you should use line chart for anything that has to do with time series. So, and what we are trying to do here is that we're trying to plot the revenue year by year, so that we can see how the business is doing and how they can do in maybe the next few years. So we plotted the year against the total revenue, which is what we have here. But there is a feature that Power BI has embedded in this line line chart, which is forecasting. So I'm going to leverage on that. So what I just need to do is to open up my format here, my formatting that particular visuals, and on my forecast. So depending on how in default is going to add maybe to 10 year, I think 10, default is 10. So, but what I want is maybe I want 5 years, or, I can add it here. So that, okay, maybe I want to focus to the next 5 years, and you can even put your confidence limit, and if your data has seasonality. So that's when we come to, the big forecasting using machine learning, when you have to check for seasonalities, using a RIMA model, Facebook Prophet, all that. So but Microsoft have also put something that should, in case your data has a seasonality, you can even, check all those things here. So, and what's your confidence level, which is 95%, that's 0.05. That is, okay, I'm sure to 0.05 when we remember our doing our thesis, maybe you are doing project or t-test and sample t-test. That's the 95% confidence, and I can apply this here. And in forecasting, we have the upper, there is always going to be the lower, there's going to be the upper, lower, and the middle one, and that's exactly what happened here. So what I'm saying here is that in year 2024, if everything goes as I have planned, this is what we are going to get. If not, this is what's going to happen. And if follow, remove some of those forecasting methods, this is where we are going to do. So it has those two boundaries, both the upper, lower, and the middle. So there is more to forecasting anyway. It's one of the simplest but most very challenging when it comes to the work of a data analyst to forecast, maybe revenue, or because a lot of things are involved. And you need to clean the data, make sure that if there is any seasonality, there is any trend, you have to make your data stationary. But there's more to it anyway, but this is how we can use forecasting in Power BI.
Thank you very much, sir. That's very helpful. Do we have any more questions?
Yes, mine is not a question. I just want clarification. Mr. Azim, my own Power BI is not active. It's not coming up there. I only have this. I don't know. Maybe is it I'm using the old one or something?
Did you download your Power BI from store, or is the one you download from Microsoft website? Because for you
I can't
to
recollect. I can't recollect.
maybe you can just uninstall it, go to store, so that if there is
Okay.
any new updates, your system will automatically pick it up.
Oh, okay. I'll do
Yeah.
that. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I just want to say that the forecast, it's one of the AI tools in Power BI.
Yeah.
And so basically you have insights. So insight is also one of the tools. So it just for the insight, look at what is happening now. You describe what is happening now. But for the forecast, you want to predict. So okay, what is going to happen, and you need to also look at the confidence interval. So if you reduce that to say maybe 75% or 60%, you are trying to narrow your prediction. But if now give it to like the 95% normal, interval, then of course you are trying to make it open to say all cases being equal, or whatever happened, you need to have your upper layer and the lower layer, then you have your main forecast. So I think it's also a good one for us to forecast our data.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll pick it up maybe once because now we've picked up a particular data set from start to finish. So maybe subsequent classes that we can start breaking it down for us to understand
course.
those other AIs in Power BI, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
there's even smart narrative, there's Q&A, just like chatbots. You can train it and say, okay, if people ask this type of question, what's going to look like. And yeah, there's smart narrative. There's a lot of stuff here, yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, there's a lot that's been built into Power BI. The decomposition tree.
Yeah.
I love using it. It just helps to drill down as many hierarchies as possible. That's within your data. I love using this Q&A as well. You can even tell it whatever question you ask it, you can tell it to turn it into a chart for you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And you can just pin that. So you don't have to do too much manual work. It used to be, this forecasting used to be that you have to be able to do some coding to be able to forecast, but now you just need to drag and drop, and then you have your answer. So they're just making the job really easier and easier by the day, which is why we need to keep updating our knowledge as well of whatever it is, the tool that we use. We can see that's the decomposition tree there. Yeah, we can see how the total revenue has been divided by products category, and maybe if we have products by product as well, we can see how each product, you can even see by region first, actually, before the products, and then how much was brought in from each region, then by each product category, and then by products. And, it's just a whole ocean of possibilities out there. But we've got to really interact with it and use it as much as possible, as many times as possible, so that we get used to whatever is thrown at us to solve, whatever problem is thrown at us to solve it with it. Power BI is quite exciting. It's one of my favorites to do, to teach and to learn more about as well. So exciting days ahead. And thank God we've got Mr. Azim at the moment, so we are going to leverage on the availability a lot, as much as we can. So thank you very much for tonight's class, sir. Thanks to everyone who has been in the class. Thanks for the questions, the comments, the contributions, and for your presence. Much appreciated. For those of us who are still not getting it yet, it's normal. It's still early days. And because we've, done quite a lot within a short period. So it's possible that some things are not very clear, but it's all going to get broken down, and we'll get a clearer picture of things in the coming days of Power BI learning. If we have no more comments, questions, I'll say let's have a good evening, enjoy a bit of a rest, and we'll see you later tonight for our presentation continues. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Azim. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Azim. Thank you. Thank you, Azim.